Hey everyone, Irishman Rants here, and yeah, welcome to Exhibit A of Why Women Don't Report Rape. Jesus Christ. Um, so anyway, let's talk about today's drama, I guess you could call it. You could probably call it drama. I'm just gonna make sure, excuse me, I'm just making sure oh shit, they haven't, let me just make sure that everyone knows that this live stream is up. All right. How is everyone doing today? It's a lovely day for tea spilling, I guess you could say. I can't tell you how much I didn't I mean I did expect today's news to happen. I knew that there was some bullshittery going on with this person, but you never know what it's going to be. Like, is he going to be like a serial abuser? Excuse me, I'm drinking Seagrams. You never know if it's going to be like he's a serial abuser, or if he defrauds people, or in the case of today, being complicit in sexual harassment. Now, of course, just pin this here. All right, I think we're good. Let's continue with the hangouts. So anyway, I was just gonna go about my day, just like anyone else. I was gonna work on homework. I have like this 4-page paper due in like 17 hours that I've barely started on. Like, I was supposed to work all day on this paper, but then, of course, this happened, and I knew that what I wanted to do today was talk about this because Digi Ranger 1994 is and always will be a piece of fucking shit. And I do not mince my words when talking about him because he is just hot garbage. Now, why is he hot garbage? Well, there's a lot of reasons. And most of those reasons have to do with the way that he presents himself and the way that he has no common sense or common decency or morals. Now, I should probably give you some backstory on who Digiranger 1994 is. Let's just go as a bit of a timeline. And let me tell you what I knew about him before today's news came up. Oh, I got 2 viewers. It's nice. So anyway, Digiranger 1994, or Scott, as I'll probably be calling him throughout this, and is the reason why this is called Great Scott, is a Twitter user who's very involved in the Channel Awesome community, and he's a member of their fan page on Facebook. He's also interacted with many of its members. If you look, I looked up interactions between Digiranger 1994 and people I follow today, and there's about near 1,000 tweets just from the past 12 months of people interacting with him, or at least 100 tweets. Like, he's popular, I guess. He has a couple thousand followers on Twitter, and he's also, I guess you could say, a social justice warrior, if we're going to use that term, because literally that's what he is. It's such an overused fucking term, but he is the very definition. He's raging ahead, and he's blind to actual evidence of when he's wrong. And my first interaction with him was back in July 2016 during the Ghostbusters controversy, when that film was released, and some people didn't like it. It didn't get very well received because of its poor marketing, and also because the film is a bit of a remake that kind of sucks out the sort of 80s humor of the film, or so I've heard. So there was also a movement of people who said that if you don't support the new movie, or if you don't like the new movie, then you are sexist. And those people are fucking idiots. Now, DigiRanger 1994 was one of those people. And so there was this interaction between somebody named Shane. I think he left Twitter, maybe deleted his Twitter account. And he was having a bit of a Twitter argument with Tony Goldmark. Immediately, everyone hates me for doing that. So they were arguing about the movie. You know, Tony, I think, was going on the defensive. Shane was saying that he doesn't like the new Ghostbusters. And Scott comes in to accuse Shane of sexism. Now, I have everything on my Twitter today. I posted the entire conversation, or at least all the images I could find of this conversation. All right, so I tweeted in this. Okay, this was July 11th, 2016, 8:08 p.m. Ayo Shane, do you hate women with a fiery passion? Shane Greer replies, fuck no, but that doesn't stop me from hating the Ghostbusters movie. I say, Shane says fuck no, but he hates the new Ghostbusters, so he must hate women, right, Scott? With the frowny face. And then Scott replies, until he unblocks me, the answer will be yes. After that, he's covering his ass. Ayo Shane, once you unblock Scott, you're no longer a misogynist. This was my first interaction with him, and the biggest sign of things to come. I'm just gonna do something like this so I can look at the chat if it ever moves. Is the chat working? Yeah, the chat's working. But anyway, yeah, this was my first interaction with DigiRanger. I was just amazed at the fact that just because he wouldn't respond to him, he was a sexist. And just because he didn't like the Ghostbusters movie, and he started out by basically he being proven wrong, and now just saying, well, you're blocking me on Twitter, so that means you're a sexist. Oh yeah, apparently Shane blocked him because he just didn't have the time for that. But yeah. And the second time was during the con leaks. Now, if you don't know what the con leaks are, let me explain. So Zoe Quinn founded something called Crash Override Network, which is supposed to be this anti-harassment organization. As I always say with terribly bad organizations that do more harm than good, it is the Autism Speaks of anti-harassment organizations. It has been exposed as having just the worst possible, it's bad. Like, it's harassed people, which is ironic considering it's anti-harassment. It's done cover-ups. It's done all this stupid shit, and it's also exposed a lot of hypocrisies and a lot of information about many of the members of that group. Now, Count Jacula was talking about this whole thing because I guess it related to him because he was a member of Channel Awesome at the time. And a former member of Channel Awesome was Dan Olson, who was part of Crash Override Network. And so he wrote, August 27th, 2016, it describes chat logs taken from Crash Override's Skype group linked by former members that basically shows. And so Scott comes in saying, you mean forged chat logs? Jack says, well, you better fucking prove that, which is true. How do you know if it's fake or not? And there's also been many people that have come out and said, yeah, they're real. And, you know, I know Mouse Cheon's a fucking lying piece of shit, but I trust that he is actually telling the truth there for once. Not just because it fits my narrative or whatever, but because I feel like he is at least honest enough to admit to something, especially if he's involved in those chat logs, that he'll be honest about about the legitimacy of that, especially if it involves him. And so, well, you better fucking prove that. Scott says, I don't have to. Heat Street doesn't have sources, which is debatable. R.I.P. Heat Street. Or rest in purgatory, Heat Street. And so Jack says, well, they're the ones with evidence, not you, so counter it. Which is, again, true, because you, even if it's not real evidence, it's still evidence at this time until proven forged. So if this is the best evidence we have, how can you assume that it's forged evidence? You can't just assume that without proving that. And I'm pretty sure Scott wasn't there. He wasn't part of Crash Over Our Network, despite him sucking Zoe Quinn's dick every chance that he gets. I can't counter evidence they didn't present in the first place, which does make sense because Heat Street was presenting the evidence. Dumbass. Jack says, well, here's one of the chat logs that the article linked. Authentic or not, it's evidence. And Scott says, if it's not authentic, then it's not evidence. Fact is, the writer of the article is a member of GG going on a smear campaign. Seriously? Jack says, you can't just refute evidence by saying, nuh-uh, fake. You gotta prove it's fake, shitbag. God, I love Jack. I even responded to one of his tweets saying, dude, Scott would jump off a cliff if Anita told him to. Just ignore him. Scott says, well, fucking voice crack. Scott says, you made the claim it was real. The responsibility's on you to prove it's real. I say, with great evidence comes great responsibility. Scott says, and yet Count Jackula has none. It makes it everyone else's responsibility to prove his claims. To which I reply, what is your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid? And then he blocks me. Because I'm just that sly son of a bitch. Oh boy. But yeah, those were my interactions last year with this guy. I just kind of thought he was a bit of a jerk and a dumbass, and I think at that time people still appreciate him. I think the only two people who were talking about him in a negative fashion in my circle from the people I was following were me and Jim Bevan. And speaking of which, I wanted to get Jim Bevan on the stream tonight, but he couldn't make it. But he did tell me he gave a statement on this controversy. So this is fresh off the presses. He sent me this statement. Just tell him that Jim says, I always knew he was a hypocrite hiding behind aggressive self-righteousness. Well, there you go. That's Jim's part in this. But anyway, I shared those two today. So if you want to go on my Twitter account and find me talking about my two previous interactions with him. And at the time, I just thought he was a big social justice person who was using it in a self-righteous sense with no real integrity, and just whines when he doesn't get his way or when stuff is proven that shows that his side kind of sucks. But anyway, I want to now talk. I want to divert the attention away from Scott and talk about another person called Kimani Wilson-Hunte. I think I've mentioned him in passing on one of my videos because I was going to do a video on him, but I ended up not doing it for reasons unknown. I'm thirsty, guys. This is going to be a long live stream, so I actually bought 2 drinks because I thought this was going to be a really long live stream. Kimani Wilson-Hunte's a fucking scumbag pervert. No other reason to say, no other thing. He has, I think, he's on YouTube. He has around like 10,000 subs, which is really disheartening. And so he's part of the Channel Awesome Facebook fan page. He's part of the Channel Awesome community. and he likes to chat with people in the community. He's very active. And it came to light recently, like a good number of months ago, that he was messaging female members of the community and asking them for feet pics and role play and basically sexually harassing many female members. Eventually, he got booted from the group, but we'll get to that later. There's a lot of people who have come forward with allegations that they have been able to prove against this guy, saying that he sexually harassed them. You can search him up. A lot of the evidence is on Tumblr, posted by people that for now shall remain anonymous. I should probably mention that there's going to be a lot of people I mentioned, but they're all not going to have names because most of the people in today's drama decided to private their accounts because they didn't want this to all blow up. But so I'm respecting their privacy and just deciding to not name names. I mean, they're all are my friends on Twitter, so I respect them, and I won't share their personal information and their names. So anyway, this person harassed many women. That many of them came forward with allegations and saying to a guy named Justin that he should be booted from the Facebook group. They told him about the information. And it only took DigiRanger 1994, Mr. Scott himself, to finally message him after everyone else who was actually a victim messaged him and finally say, hey, guess what? These women are being harassed. But not before saying that the people who were being harassed were blocking him for having any sort of association with Kimani. So he was basically getting mad at the victims while saying, but I should probably report this guy. Because DigiRanger's a fucking cunt. So anyway, Justin finally, because he doesn't listen to women who have been sexually harassed and only listens to men, decided to finally boot this guy from the group. But there's more to it than that. You see, DigiRanger 1984 knew about this, but didn't say anything at first. I have an image from a person who shared this. I'm gonna search down. This is another person who shall remain anonymous, but their tweet is available because they haven't privated. Back in May 6, 2016. Oh, wow. This was even before I had my problems with DigiRanger. They asked him, how come you're still interacting with Kimani on Facebook? So this controversy was has been more than a year old. DigiRanger replied, because you were supposed to talk to Justin about getting him out. Seriously? Are you fucking serious, Scott? You're fucking serious. Jesus Christ, man. You're just gonna not do anything. You're just gonna ask him, hey, you know what? I don't like this guy, but you're the ones who are supposed to message him. Not me. I'm just an innocent bystander. I don't really have any, I don't really have much in this fight. Cut to a couple months later, and Kimani Wilson-Hunte has a comment of his featured. Oh, I did see your reaction series you did in the past. Oh, shit. That's the Professor Tom Nook days. Nice for reminding me. But anyway. So anyway, Kimani Wilson-Hunte had a thing. He had made a comment, and it got featured at the end of a Screen Junkies video, which is pretty telling considering the other news that we'll also get to because it relates to this story. But anyway, so Kimani Wilson-Hunte gets this comment featured on Screen Junkies, and Scott has the bright idea because he's still technically in the group, and despite everyone basically hating him for being still in the group, he decides to post a screen cap from that Screen Junkies video with Kimani Wilson-Hunte's comment and say, hey, guess what? Kimani got his comment featured on Screen Junkies. And he didn't see anything wrong with this. Maybe he did, but he still posted it. And this makes him complicit in Kimani Wilson-Hunte's abuse of women. I mean, harassment of women, but it blurred lines. Like he says he's not complicit. He told me today that he made a dumb mistake. But I'm sorry, man, but you were complicit because you knew about all the shit that was going down with this foot fetish pervert guy, and you still thought it wouldn't hurt anyone if you were to post something with this known harasser's comment in it because he hadn't been booted yet. You're totally not going to lose your friends over that. And that's what happened. Because you're a fucking joke. You're pathetic, Scott. You're just goddamn pathetic. He says he's not complicit, but I say that's complacency. If that's the right word. Complicity? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't fucking know. I'm just here to spill some tea. But he talks about this, and he gets mad at a bunch of the people who are getting mad at him because like he messages people saying that this is libel. Like he's actually saying, like after he's posted this and people are saying that he's promoting a harasser, which he fucking is, that saying that he's promoting a harasser is libel when it's not. It's saying exactly what's on the fucking tin, that you let a harasser, you promoted a harasser's name on the page just because he was still part of the community, despite him being despised by everyone in that fucking community that knew about his actions. You are complicit in his harassment because you saw what he was doing with several women and just said, someone else will report it. And then you have the balls to say that you were the only person who reported it, which is what you said today, when many of the women who were harassed reported on this guy, and Justin, who I don't know who Justin is, but I think he's a piece of shit too for not listening to any of these women and waiting until the guy... It's kind of like, you know, you remember how back in 2005, Bill Cosby was accused of rape? And everyone just kind of forgot about that. And then 9 years later, Hannibal Buress mentioned Bill Cosby raping someone in his stand-up. And then that set off a firestorm, and now there's 50 women out there who have accused him of rape. And so back in 2005, a bunch of women claim that Bill Cosby's a rapist. No one gives a shit. A man claims that Bill Cosby's a rapist. Everyone gives a shit. This is why women don't report rape. Because no one believes them. There's some people who are good that believe women. But a majority, I don't want to say there's a rape culture because I don't believe that. I believe that there's a lot of people who are just complacent and don't really care about rapists or rape victims. But I don't believe that there's a rape culture. I feel like it's a bit of an excuse, of a rape apology excuse. Like, oh, the reason that they rape is because of rape culture. No, it's because they're rapists. That's just my opinion. If you believe in rape culture, I guess that's fine, because I guess there is evidence that there is a bit more of, trust in the rapists than there are in the rape victims, but whatever. Either way, I believe that Scott was complicit in the harassment of these women by Kimani Wilson-Hunte. And he needs to own up to that, not just say he made a mistake by posting that screenshot. He needs to apologize. I mean, the damage is kind of already done, but he could probably apologize if he wants. If I were any of the people who have been hurt by Scott, I would not accept his apology because of the fucking bullshit he's pulling. This is starting to overheat. But why am I talking about it today? Well, as time goes on, after March, when he's finally reported it to Scott, when Scott's reported it to Justin, and Kimani Wilson-Hunte is still popping up from time to time. Today's news about Screen Junkies, Andy Signore, being an attempted rapist or a rapist. I haven't looked much into it yet, but I think he might be a rapist. He, DigiRanger 1984, then goes off on a Twitter storm talking about how terrible that Andy Signore is, and how people like Chris Stuckman should make statements about this guy and should not stand by and let this guy go out and be a rapist and exist. Instead, he should be condemned and fired and whatnot, which I agree, because I don't want a fucking rapist working for me. I'm planning my own thing with the PAFO, the Peaceful Anti-Fascist Organization, and one of my rules is that we don't allow rapists into our group, or murderers, or violent people that don't do it in self-defense. I should probably do more on that, but whatever. The point is that he kept posting about this, and I like to think that these were related. And so an anonymous person started to, they've deleted the tweets, so I can't really read them right now, but they talked about how they were not really a big fan of Scott, because despite him saying that he's a champion for women and that he supports women, and he's like a big believer in feminism, that he still stood by as Kimani Wilson-Hunte harassed women and didn't do anything about it. He eventually did something about it, but just around when the whole controversy spiraled out of control. And he has the balls to get mad at the woman for not reporting it when they fucking did. Fucking piece of shit, motherfucker. But anyway, so basically now there's a lot of people, most of them who have privated their account as of today because they don't want to really get involved too much in this. They start to spill the dirt on DigiRanger, and I'm just like, oh boy, because it's like yesterday there was stuff on Harvey Weinstein, who is another person I think is a piece of shit with no integrity, but I'm planning on doing a number of videos on that guy, like at least 2 or 3. So Harvey Weinstein yesterday, and now today there's a controversy involving DigiRanger 1994, which I have my history with. And, it's just like, what a scumbag for defending this. I mean, not really, I won't say defending it. Well, somewhat defending him. I mean, technically, because he was like, I hate this guy, but I'm still going to post a screen cap of this guy, despite me knowing that he's an abuser. Like, it's technically like, oh, it shouldn't matter. You know what matters more is the fact that a guy who was part of this community, just any guy in particular, was featured on Screen Junkies. That's good. That's good thinking, bruh. That's good thinking, bruh. All right. So anyway, a lot more people are talking about this, and it's becoming this thing. I mean, DigiRanger 1994 doesn't know about this yet. We'll get to that. There's a lot more people just talking about what a terrible person he is. I'm just looking through this just to make sure I got everything. And yeah, this is a tweet that I made. Like, so really, I should have seen it coming. But of all the creeps he could defend, you stand for the one with stacks of evidence against him. Because, again, there were many people accusing this guy of sexually harassing him. And no one gave a shit. Like, Justin just ignored this evidence against him. And now he's talking about how terrible Andy's ignore of Screen Junkies is for being a rapist, despite defending Kimani the harasser. Again, I might say that her defending Kimani is a bit strong, but, you know. Oh, here's another conversation. Another thing I forgot to mention, this is another anonymous person. Despite being such a nice guy, he pressured 2 girls into leaving the Channel Awesome Facebook group over a year ago for God knows what entitled reason. I reply, maybe they didn't want to be feminists, so he tried to hang them from the gallows. And this person replies, from what I vaguely remember, it did have something to do with the new Spoopy Stoppers movie, which I don't know what the fuck that is, but whatever. And one of the girls said she liked Alpha Omega Sin, yet didn't say anything about liking harassment. That'll do it. You just, you know, I'm pretty sure if DigiRanger 1994 found out about ranting feminist, he would blow his fucking brains out. Like, oh, this is a feminist who's friends with an anti-feminist Nazi? Like, that would be his reaction. That'll do it. Mentioning that you like anyone right of Dan Olson, which I misspelled as Dab Olson, means you shouldn't be allowed nice things. What a cunt bag. Like, he just gets so involved with other people's lives. He just doesn't give 2 single shits about you. He wants to fit everything to be his own sort of world. Like, he doesn't, if you don't conform to what he thinks is good, he's going to beat the shit out of you on Twitter. Because he can't do it in real life because he's a fucking weak baby. But anyway. Apparently he was still communicating with Kimani despite knowing all of the pervy shit he was doing and just lazily waiting for his ban. Now, it's debatable whether or not he was still keeping in contact with Kimani. There's some people saying that he did. Some people saying that he didn't, and by some people saying that he didn't, I mean Scott himself, because he has to, as he would say himself, he's covering his ass. But I personally think that you're still sharing, you're still promoting this guy. Fuck off. You're kind of communicating with him in a way. And so I announced, it's so a lot more is being told about him and how much of a piece of shit he is. I mean, like, I'm going to say this right up front. I always knew that he was a piece of shit. I already said that, but I always knew he was a piece of shit. And I never thought about him really up until now. Like, it took me a year for me to even care about him. Like, I always remembered him being just a complete tool. But just to see that he's this big of a tool after seeing him just interacting with everyone who was an SJW for Channel Awesome and being involved in this Channel Awesome community. And just to see that he would be stooping to these levels and just having no self-awareness, it doesn't surprise me, but it's also sad to see because so many people like this guy, apparently. I mean, I never understood it because, again, he thinks that not liking Ghostbusters is sexist because he wants to suck the dick of Zoe Quinn. But this is fucking stupid. But anyway, I mentioned that I'm going to be doing this live stream. And I invite Jim B on, and he unfortunately wasn't able to make it, but I did get a response from Mr. Scott, and it was just WTF. And I tweet out, runs off as I'm a Believer starts playing. And now, basically, I mean, technically, he's starting to, like, talk to the other people who aren't me, but when it comes to this controversy, DigiRanger mostly communicate with me. And I'm glad for that because I didn't want him just be arguing all day with people who were in the right. And, I mean, he has the right to stand up for himself, I guess. But we know what happened. We know he's a piece of shit for what he did. And it's not just because of this. And another person who, again, is anonymous, decided to post this. Friendly reminder that so not tagged, DigiRanger 1994 found the status of an upcoming Nostalgia Critic video more important than the death of Doug and Rob's mother. Yes, really. Sadly, I can't find the post, but good God, it was something. And eventually he found it. And it's Tagan hint. Thomas H. says, probably taking a week off due to his mom's passing. And Scott says, I know his mom's passed. But the thing is, it's the time needed that's the variable. There's a 72-hour exclusivity window, too. This man made Channel Awesome. Doug made Channel Awesome. And he works tirelessly. Dab Olson, yeah. He works tirelessly to please his audience. And his mother dies, and he's not allowed the time necessary to mourn the loss of his mother. Of not just his mother, but Rob's mother, too. Doug and Rob are basically the bread and butter. They are what makes Channel Awesome work, along with the people who work at Channel Awesome. Their mother dies, and your first thought is, but you still have to make your new video this week, right? Fuck off. They need some time to mourn the death of their mother. This is not the time to talk about their input and their work schedule because a family emergency comes up. Like, ignore all the other shit. That's just cold and thoughtless. And that's that perfectly describes Scott to me. This person also says, it's funny, sad how a certain person will say they're respectful towards women, but still befriends and gives attention to a piece of shit who harassed my friend and still has the fucking nerve to call out Andy Signor on being a shitty fucking harasser. So it does tie into this. This is about DigiRanger 1994, by the way. It's not a good idea to harass him, but it's also not a good idea to associate with him either. And that's another thing. I don't want people harassing this guy. I mean, like, maybe talk to him about this. Maybe never let him live it down. That's perfectly fine. But don't berate. I mean, you can if you want, but I wouldn't go too extreme with him because, as I've always said, if you just become relenting and violent towards your enemy, that just makes them look like the good guy. Unless, of course, it's war. And I posted a tweet that he put at 2:51 p.m. today. But we're the nice ones, really. And this was in the context of Andy Signore, but it fit this perfectly. Let's see what else there is. Yeah, there's the tweet about Doug and Rob's mother. This is in response to Dooley, a tweet. But yeah, and then Mr. I got okay. I got a message, but I'll read it later. So anyway, DigiRanger blocked me on Twitter because he found out I was doing the live stream, and then he just decided to unblock me because he had some other things he had to say, and he was starting to find out that there was this whole mutiny, I guess, against him, telling him that what he does is wrong because it is wrong. And so it's kind of like that scene from War Room, which I've seen a couple times. I haven't seen the movie a couple times, but I've seen the scene. And it's like I think someone's yelling like, you know what, you gotta do this right. You gotta be up there. You gotta do this right. And then they're just leaving because after they're done yelling, and then they come back and one more thing, and it's like this long scene that should have ended, and it was like that. And then he leaves again by blocking me. What the? Anyway. He blocked me, so I can't really read all the crazy shit he sent me. He was like, why is this going on? And I said, because we have evidence of you knowing Kimani was being a perv and you not doing shit. Like, he's basically the silent person. I mean, unless I would say this is kind of a gray area because recently Scott Weinberg got a bunch of shit for he got a bunch of shit from Trauma because of knowing a lot of the victims of Harry Knowles but not saying anything. But the thing about that is that the victims specifically told him not to tell people about Harry Knowles being a piece of shit. So it was fine. So it was fine. And so it's like, if the victims themselves tell you to not do anything about it, I would say, yeah. Unless, of course, it's a situation where it's like they're going to murder you, so you have to say something. Like, there's, of course, exceptions. But people wanted to know when Scott was going to say something about Kimani, and he said nothing. I mean, just the same way that today on Friday, he did his fucking Forward Friday tweets, and he put Sarah Butts and Izzy Galvez on Forward Fridays. And if you watch this channel, you know how I feel about Sarah Butts, and I don't like her, and I don't think any 8-year-old girl will like Sarah Butts either. I might get shit for that. But anyway, so he's basically just kind of ignoring and it's not even like Sarah Butts or Izzy Galvez, who are, you know, in the social justice circles and have been accused of being perverts and pedos and whatnot. I don't think even Kimani Wilson-Hunte was part of the social justice circles. He was just some guy in the Channel Awesome fandom who happened to be asking. Oh wait, he actually is a pedophile too. Kimani Wilson-Hunte also tried to role play and ask a woman if he could do the foot role play and all role play and whatnot. He asked minors if he could do that. Not just a full-grown woman. He asked minors in the Channel Awesome community if he could have feet pics or do role play. So in a way, why is her name Butts? I can't get that out of my head. I think she just calls herself that. Her name is Sarah Nyberg, but whatever. Hey Mumoof. Anyway, but anyway, yeah. So technically, you're not saying anything about a pedophile, and it's not like you were told to not speak up about this pedophile. You just didn't do it because you assumed the other woman would do it, and you didn't. You also didn't know that they did, but got no response. Actually, you know what? There is. Okay, this is another anonymous tip. I'm just going to read this. I'm not going to say who it is, but here we go. By the way, I've been watching the stream. Plus, I just wanted to clear up that I don't honestly know if anyone told Justin about Kimani Wilson-Hunte before Scott did. I'm so sorry if that's the way it came out, but I wasn't sure if anyone else had. I wanted to, but never could because I just never felt welcome there. And plus, wasn't sure how people would respond to it, because it just seemed like everyone there like supported the creep. Also do know that at least some of the members followed me, plus saw my warnings, plus knew what Kimani Wilson-Hunte was, but still talked to him. Plus, I thought maybe someone more active in the group might say something, but I guess no one actually did until Scott finally did after I blocked him. So yeah, I apologize for confusion about that. Also, a friend did tell me they were going to tell Justin about Kimani Wilson-Hunte, but I guess they never did and were too intimidated to. Okay, so correction, I guess. If you're, so I made some claims that that people did message Justin before. That's not true. To the anonymous tipster's knowledge, no one messaged him before Scott did. Because again, like a lot of victims of these sorts of crimes, they just don't want to talk about it because they don't feel comfortable or they feel pressured to not talk about it. So, you know, somebody, I mean, it's not even like they were telling, I don't think the anonymous tipster can reply back if they want and just tell me if someone specifically told Scott not to say anything. Because if anyone was telling Scott to not say anything, that kind of makes him have an excuse to not say anything about Kimani Wilson-Hunte. If not, if people were specifically telling him to say something about him, and no one was telling him to not say something about him, then he's complicit in the harassment of several women. And I apologize to whoever this Justin Schmuck is. I called you a sexist, and I apologize for that. Apparently, I mean, like, it is a bit, you should probably know what's going on. I mean, I'm surprised no one told him about this, but I mean, if you didn't know anything about the abuse going on for a year or so, I guess I can't really blame you for, I can't really call you a sexist. I mean, it is a bit weird that, I mean, this stuff was being shared on Tumblr. I mean, like, maybe you don't go on Tumblr, but this stuff was pretty public. This stuff was pretty out there, and you didn't know anything about Kimani Wilson-Hunte. You can't expect people to just message you. You have to, like, know about this stuff. But I guess, whatever. I apologize if I had confused some people, but, you know, I guess I still think there's a bit of a double standard out there. I will admit that. I do find it weird that it took a guy to talk about this. Despite all the publicly available information out there about Kimani, it took a guy telling Justin to let him know to ban the guy. So I guess there's that. But I just wanted to clear up some information. Thank you to the anonymous tipster. But anyway, what else was there? Oh, they replied back. As far as I know, no one told Scott not to say anything after it was made public that Kimani was a creep. There we go. There we go. He has no fucking excuse. He could have said anything, especially since this information was so public. But he waited till March of this year to say something. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. But anyway, and I started to be like a bit snarky to him by saying like, sorry, my relative just died, but I should probably work on new videos instead of grieve their death because you want me to. And also he replied to me, yep, it's always like that. Thanks, move. Fuck, he has the... And he's still, like, of course he still has the fucking image from the Nostalgia Critic It review of the balloon with the fucking eyes. He goes, I was the one who reported Kimani to Justin. None of the girls did. I had to. Great precision of language there. As they say in The Giver, precision of language. We gotta refer to them as girls, you know. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be like, you know, the big, you know, like policer of language. You know, I got in trouble for saying the word female once, which I think is bullshit because it's a scientific term. But I mean, like, it's true, I guess, now that I've learned that according to our knowledge, he was the first person to message Justin about this. He reported him, as he said. And he had to. I mean, like, I guess that also is true because how did Justin stay so clueless about this? Surely he would have found out something. Surely he would have found out something. And also he kept calling me a liar. Scott kept calling me a liar and saying I was being libelous and I was just being wrong. And I said I never admitted anything because I never spread he said I admitted to slander because I said something. He said I literally never admitted anything because I never spread lies. There are receipts, Scotty. And a person replied, I love how he's saying you admit to lying when there's evidence of him being a piece of shit to my friends. And that's true. He's been a piece of shit to a lot of people. He's been a piece of shit to me. He's been a piece of shit to Jack. He's been a piece of shit to people in the CA forum because they watch people who happen to be anti-SJW channels. He's really been a piece of shit and an inconvenience to the victims of Kimani Wilson-Hunte. Sorry, Hunt. I felt corny as shit. And I said I expected as much. He'll deny any reliable evidence if it doesn't fit his worldview. That's just sad. And I messaged that I'm going to have my own live stream, and I said, only check it out tonight at 8/7 Central, only on ABC. Lotus Prince, who I'm not keeping anonymous because whatever. And he said, you know that this kind of behavior makes you the bad guy, right? What? No. Because, you know what? I'm not the one. I think I replied, seriously? Sure, I'm hyping this up a bit much, but I'd say being complicit in someone's sexual harassment is worse, which is true. Sorry, Lotus Prince, if you feel that way about Scott. But, you know, it's worse when you're just saying, I'm not going to do anything until the very last minute about this harassment going on in the community. And say that because I'm deciding to do a stream that's talking about this drama and I'm kind of acting like Keemstar a little bit about the promotion and I'm being a bit of a hype beast, that I'm worse. Like, I'm not exploiting this. Like, I'm standing up for my friends with this. Like, I'm trying my best to stand up for my friends when they're having this, like, sort of drama and this crisis because this guy like just kind of stood by and did nothing while they were being harassed sexually by Kimani. He also said you admitted to lying to get back at him. Oh, really? I'd never heard this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if he said that. Nothing he does surprises me. And no, I wasn't lying to get back at him. I didn't give a shit. I mean, like, I gave a shit because you know, I had my history with him. But I was a bit like, oh my god, there's a new controversy involving this guy I don't like. I'm gonna get my ass on this. I kind of was like that, but the main reason I'm doing this is because this guy, like Kimani Wilson-Hunte, is a scumbag, and for you to know what's going on, and just nobody tells you to not tell on this guy, and instead you just kind of dilly-dally and wait up until this has become a big thing to just go, oh, you know, I should probably say something. And then still go, you know, but the victims were really mean to me because I didn't say anything. Oh, they're also to blame here. So no, I wasn't trying to get back at him. It's not like I had a grudge for a whole fucking year. If anything, I didn't give a shit. Like, yeah, I have my bias with him. What? Holy shit. Oh my god. I just got suspended. I'm dead fucking serious. Oh my god. We've temporarily limited some of your account features. We've determined that this account violated the Twitter rules, so we've temporarily limited some of your account features. While in this state, you can still browse Twitter, but you're limited to only sending direct messages to your followers. No tweets, retweets, or likes. Learn more. Your account will be restored to full functionality in 7 days and 0 hours. I got banned for a week just as this was happening. Holy fucking shit. And it says you can start your countdown and continue to Twitter once you delete tweets that violate our rules. Oh, this is going to be rich. Let's see what tweets violated the rules, guys. To unlock your account, you must delete tweets that are in violation of our rules, which prohibit harassing other users, threatening other users, disclosing other users' private information, violating our other rules. I'm just asking what your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid was. Come on, man. I wasn't trying to hurt you. Oh, and thank you, Keenan, for liking my tweet. Is there an option to not delete this tweet because fuck you? I mean, I've already posted pictures of it, so I mean, I guess why the fuck not? I'll delete this tweet. The fucking guy just found the tweets from a year ago of me just like just me talking about how bad yeah, wow, but they drag their heels on Nazis harassing others. This went in a whole different direction. This is like breaking fucking news. This is what live streaming is all about. It's live, baby. It's live. Jesus fucking Christ. Too bad there's only 3 viewers because this is golden. He literally, I'm assuming this is Scott doing this because who the fuck else would it be? Oh, geez. No, I don't want to verify an update. I accidentally clicked. Remind me later. Okay. Dude, Scott would jump off a cliff and he had told him to. Just ignore him. Again, he dug up my tweets about him that I mentioned. and just like use them against me, despite them not even being that harassing. It's just me being snarky. And now I'm forced to delete them. And so thank you for deleting the tweets that are in violations of our rules. All right, so now I'm banned for 6 days and 23 hours. Oh, that's kind of creepy of him to look through your old tweets to get back at you. Well, I mean, like, I posted them, like, today, but again, for those of you watching this, so I'm doing my live stream about Scott, DigiRanger 1994, and while I'm doing my live stream, he reports 2 of my tweets as harassment, despite them being really tame and me not even, like, I mean, technically I kind of badger him. I guess that's the harshest you could say I do. Like, I'd never even, like, harassed him. I just said that that if Anita told him to jump off a cliff, if Anita Sarkeesian told him to jump off a cliff, he would do it. I never told him to jump off a cliff. I wouldn't do that because I'm not a piece of shit like him. I also just told him, what is your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid? I wasn't telling him that I wanted to poison him. I was just telling them that he was drinking the social justice the social justice Kool-Aid. That's what I was doing. And now because of those tweets, I'm now banned for 7 days from Twitter. Luckily, you know, luckily I have a bunch of other Twitter accounts. I'm not going to say them here, but I'll probably message anyone. This is so fucking... You're pathetic, Scott. Scott, come here, baby. Come on. Come on. Scott, you're pathetic. Do you think this really... I mean, yes, my whole life is on Twitter. But do you really think this is going to end things? Do you really think that deleting these tweets from a year ago is going to hurt me? Is this going to stop me from talking about you? You only made things worse. Because this is my life. This is what I do. I have a community on here. I have friends. You know, I got Moomoof, I got Kitty, I got Ethan. I got all these friends on Twitter. You know, I got Kai, I got Tyler, so many people. I have all these friends on Twitter. It's basically my Facebook. Like Facebook, I have my real life friends, but I feel a lot of connection nowadays to people on Twitter. So you might have taken a big part of me away for a whole fucking week, but I'm not gonna fucking stop talking about you. You know, this only makes things worse for you and for everyone involved. You just made a situation of drama a whole lot worse. And look, you could probably claim all you want that you didn't harass me, but who the fuck else would know about this? And who would give more of a shit about your lonely ass to actually go out and find those fucking tweets that I made about you a whole fucking year and 2 months ago and flag them for just you because they like you? They're defending you against the people claiming that you were complicit in the sexual harassment of several women, and because you didn't do anything and you even promoted them on the fucking Facebook page, despite knowing that they were serial harasser of women. Fuck you, Scott. You can go to hell. All right? Look, I'm mad about this, you know? Like, this is my Twitter. Like, what the fuck? But at the same time, I still have my YouTube channel. What are you going to do? Are you going to go on to my Zoe Quinn video and say that that's harassment because I talked bad about your supreme overlord? You're going to go onto my Sarah Nyberg video and say that it's bad that I pointed out that someone fiddled their 8-year-old cousin? Going to say that's all harassment too? You're going to go after me? Yeah. Or How about this? You're gonna go after me for being at a college. You're gonna message my college about me. You could probably do that. I go to Columbia. They've posted stuff where they said they're anti-racism. You could probably find anything I've done. I once, like, maybe when I'm doing my Sargon impression, I might slip something in there to do a better impression of Sargon because he's a bigot. You could take that out of context and say that I'm a racist so that Columbia bans me. I'm giving you all these ideas, and I'm telling you this now because of just what a fucking pathetic person you are. And if you take all these ideas, and you're probably going to get laughed in the fucking face because of that. Or it might work, but just know that you're ruining my life all because I pointed out that you did something incredibly stupid, not just stupid, but complicit in sexual harassment of women online. And you're furiously anti-Gamergate, and yet you pulled that stupid shit. And you have the fucking cojones to go after me and to go after all these other people that I won't name who are talking about you. You're a loser. You're a fucking loser. Like, is this what you really want to do with your life? It's fucking pathetic. God damn. Does anyone want to come online? Because we could talk about this. I'm opening up the phone lines. Anyone else could come on, and I could turn the camera off if you want to come online. I'll invite you on. This is kind of the lull period. This is kind of this. We'll just take this minor break. If anyone wants to come on, you can. This is so fucking stupid. LS und Perdidor. I don't know. Moomoof. If you want, you can. I mean, if you want, you can come on if you want. Because you're basically the biggest Twitter follower I have. So if anyone else wants to come on and talk about Scott or Kimani or whatever, feel free to. Also, I know I'm kind of suspended on Twitter now, so I can't really talk to any of you guys. But I'm gonna be on my Twitter account. This Twitter rant, this drama alert is brought to you by Seagrams and Fanta, as I showed before. I misspelled my own tweet. Because I don't want to give them the liberty of knowing. Jesus fucking Christ. I be useless for this topic. I just got banned online. I just got banned from Twitter. Oh yeah, you. Oh yeah, you. If you want, I'll invite you. If you want, remove. I'd be happy to have you on. Did they suspend your backup as well? No, they didn't, which I was surprised by. Fuck, I forgot Muma's email. Oh, there we go. All right. Hopefully. This is just so fucking amazing that this would happen. Like, only during my fucking live stream where I talk about this guy being a piece of shit and not caring about the well-being of others and not caring about his favorite content creator, like having his mother die and saying, well, where's the fucking videos? Like, he comes up and suspends me from Twitter in the middle of my fucking live stream. It's like nothing suspicious going on here. So how's everyone doing? I'm doing fine. I'll probably spend the entire night working on my fucking paper. So, there's that. Me trying to figure out what to do now that I'm suspended for a whole week. This is not the first time I've been suspended. I've been suspended for 12 hours before. I have a video up called Twitter suspended me for insulting Emails Chion, which actually happened. I called Emails Chion a twat, and but because he fucking is, and I got suspended from Twitter because, as some people say, they're the Nazi website. Oh, cool. Let's see. Let's see. How do I get Move on? I invited them. How the fuck do I do this? Shit. How do I do that? Yeah, I guess you could come on if you want, Mumuf. I just invited you, so. How the fuck do I do this? We have some technical difficulties, but don't worry, we'll be doing just well, just swell. Maybe I should play some Brother Man Bill just until I get Move on. But anyway, I'll just talk to you, I guess, about some of the best things that have happened this week. I've been currently watching the filmography of John Waters, who I feel a personal connection to because I'm also a person who wants to do out there projects, and he is also known for doing out there projects. So I wanted to watch his entire filmography in reverse. So I started with The Dirty Shame, and I'm planning on ending on Mondo Trasho if I can find it. So far, my favorite film of his is Cecil B. Demented. And I've been wanting the past 2 days to watch Serial Mom, but I haven't found the time. And I certainly haven't been able to find the time today. Move, just probably good question. Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Is there like a way to invite people on? I mean, I just invited Move to come on, so maybe we'll stop this broadcast and we can like come back on. Who knows? What the fuck is cameraman? Why did I select cameraman? Oh shit. Yeah, I think we'll get ready for Great Scott Part 2, guys. Oh, we got an incoming video call. This is awkward. Okay. 1 second, guys. We'll be right back. 1 second, Mumu. We'll do this again, but They're gonna stop the broadcast for now. Be right back, guys.